Hey everybody, today I have a super cool video for you. I'm going to show you TrueNAS Buddy Backup. I'm calling it Buddy Backup, but basically what I'm going to show you how to do is using something like Tailscale or NetBird, in this case NetBird, I'm going to show you how to network two remote TrueNAS servers together and then use them to back up your data. So say for example, you have a TrueNAS server at home and you've got one in somebody else's house, or maybe you know a friend that's got a TrueNAS server and you've got a TrueNAS server and you guys want to give each other some storage space in order to back up your servers remotely. God forbid one of you loses your servers. Now this doesn't only work with TrueNAS, this works with everything else, but I'm going to show you the TrueNAS method because it's the easiest and it's pretty straightforward. So let's jump right in here. I'm going to show you the two servers I have. I have this one. This is 10.99.0.191. This is the test server you guys seem to use in my videos a lot. This is 1099.0.200. This is my production server. This is the actual TrueNAS I use for all of my stuff. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put this test TrueNAS server onto my NetBird network, and then I'm going to use it to connect to this TrueNAS server and then push a backup. So let's start right now. The first thing I'm going to want to go ahead and do is get NetBird on both these machines. Now, because I have NetBird running on my production server, of course, I'm going to put NetBird on this one. So I'm going to come over to my apps page. I'm going to discover apps. I'm going to install via YAML, and I'm going to just call this NetBird. And actually, the first thing I want to do is I want to rename this machine. So this machine is actually named TrueNAS right now. I'm going to go over to my network tab and change my settings, because whatever this is, see this host name right here? This is what's going to show up in the NetBird dashboard. So I'm going to call this TrueNAS test, kind of like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then I'm going to go ahead and install NetBird. So once this updates, I'm going to jump over to apps, and then I'm going to go to discover apps. Then I'm going to do install via YAML. Now I'm going to jump over here to the wiki. I'm going to find the NetBird page, scroll down on the left until you get to the networking section. I want this whole Docker compose, and I'm going to put that on the test machine. I'm going to call this NetBird, and I'm going to go ahead and install that. Now, I can't launch this yet because I need to do something. I need to add my setup key here. So I'm going to come over to my NetBird, and I'm going to come over to setup keys, and I'm going to create a new setup key. I'm going to call this YouTube test. And I'm going to leave all this stuff stock. It's only going to allow it to be used one time. And I don't care if you guys see this, because as soon as I use it, which I'm going to do right now, it's going to be completely useless. It won't be able to be used again. So I'm going to go ahead and put it over here, my setup key, and hit save. And it's going to go ahead and launch my NetBird app. And here it is. My NetBird app is up and running. So now I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go back to my peers. And I'm going to see TrueNAS test come up right here, just like that. So I have TrueNAS and I have TrueNAS test, which is really, really cool. So now both of these are on the same NetBird client. But here's the deal. My TrueNAS machine has the special ACL to it. It's considered part of the trusted network. And if you go over to my access control policies, I don't have my default turned on. In fact, if you're not considered trusted, you can't get to another trusted endpoint. And I have my work set up here as well. So I want trusted to be able to reach trusted, which is already part of my ACL. I just have to add that to my peer now. So when I go to my TrueNAS test box, I have to come over here to my groups, and I'm going to assign it to the trusted network. This is going to allow it to reach all the other machines in my trusted networks, as well as, which is in this case going to be my production TrueNAS machine. So now we got networked like that, we're up and running with NetBird. Now that we're networked together, what we want to do is run a test. So let's go ahead and jump over here to my shell. And what I want to do is I want to do a ping test. So I'm going to do a ping with a count of 1, and I want to go from, this is my production, this is my test TrueNAS. Let's go to my production TrueNAS machine, which is at 100.84.246.134. If I spelled that right, like that. So there we go. So now I can get from my test machine to my production, and now let's go backwards. Let's go from here. Let's go from my production back to my test machine, which is at 100.84.116.63. There we go. So now the two machines can talk to each other, and I know they can talk to each other, so now we can start setting up replication tasks. So fun story. I realized that because both of these test machines are on the 10.99 network, it's messing with the networking that I'm doing. So I have to get a machine that's not on 10.99. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a real backup task that I did. I was trying to recreate this video and show you guys from the ground up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that everything we shot up to this point works if you're on machines that are on completely separate subnets. So what I'm going to show you is two machines that are on separate subnets. One is going to be my TrueNAS machine. This is my production TrueNAS. The other one is called Small Nasty. This is a TrueNAS machine that we use at work. They're both in the same, in this case, ACL, but they're on completely different networks. You can see here, there's a completely different address for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use and show you guys how to set this up for this machine for a replication task. So now that we're going to choose to use these two machines, we are going to jump over here to my TrueNAS production machine, and I'm going to pick a data set. In this case, go to data protection, and I'm going to set up a new replication task. So you can see I already have a backup task set up here, but I'm going to show it to you and how it's created, just so that you guys can see how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and say my SSH connection, add new. I'm going to call this my test connection. The TrueNAS URL is going to be the URL in NetBird, and that's the URL for NetBird for small nasty. The username is going to be root. My user password is this. And if you're going to do this, make sure you have the root account enabled. In most cases, especially with a new TrueNAS, everybody's logged in as TrueNAS_admin. Go to your I'll show you guys real fast by coming over here. You're going to want to make sure you go to your credentials and then your users and then root, and then you're going to want to go ahead and edit this, and you're going to want to uncheck the disable password, give it a password, and allow SSH password login. So once you do that, you can then come in over SSH. So now I've got that set up. I'm going to go ahead and set up a new private key, and then I'm going to click save. So now you'll see as I get the certificate verification failed. So I'm going to go ahead and click close. And you're going to say, would you like to ignore this error and try again? The answer is yes, we do. We're going to hit continue. And there we go. So now I can see everything on the other system. I'm going to come over here and you'll see I can pull up all of the data sets on the main pool. And then I can come over here and I can see everything on mine. So I can basically pick anything. I can go ahead and pick Jelly Seer, for example, just for this one thing. And I can go ahead and I can put it on main pool. I can say destination is going to be main pool. And then I can create a destination here. So let's say I'm going to create main pool /test, just like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and say next. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. There we go. So now it's pending, and when I hit play, I'm going to run this job and I'll hit continue. Okay, now it is done backing up, and I'm going to show you in our data protection data sets. Here we go. You will see my test data set right here, and here it is, Jelly Seer. So there we go. That's the connection between making the backup. Now again, I just did a really quick directory like that, but you can do bigger directories. You can do all kinds of cool stuff when it comes to just the basic replication tasks. If you don't understand replication tasks, I recommend you watch my other video. And thank you guys so much for subscribing, watching this channel. Please like and subscribe. Please leave comments below. And if you want to say thank you personally to me, please buy me a coffee.